Today's episode of the Natural Habitat Podcast is brought to you by a brand new sponsor.
Who?
Our brand new sponsor today is poopsenders.com.
A what?
Now, do you have an enemy? Somebody that you hate?
Yep.
Somebody that you look at, maybe it's on social media, they come across your feed and you're like, you motherfucker.
All the time.
I hate you. And you know, you're just too grown up to like go to their house and slap them around in front of their kids.
Yeah.
Well, poopsenders.com has the remedy for this. And the remedy is you pay poopsenders.com and you provide them with their address, not your address, okay? Don't put your address on this. You put your enemy's address, your ex's address, your asshole of a boss, their address on it, and they get sent a box of nice, fresh, stinky animal shit. All right?
Nice.
Every month it's a different shit. They have like a themed poop. And, you know, sometimes it's an elephant, sometimes it's a bear, sometimes it's a horse. You never really know what you're going to get. But they definitely are going to get shit in a sealed package at their house. So they'll get it. It'll look nice. They'll be like, what is this? It's addressed to me. Looks like it could be nice. They open it, break the seal, and now there's shit all over the place.
They're going to be some poo connoisseurs.
Mm-hmm. And now there's this weirdo just with a bag of shit in front of his family. And everyone's like, what are you doing, Jerry?
Nice.
Why do you have that? And he's like, no,
Jerry.
it was a gag. Someone sent it to me. And they're like, no, it says that you ordered this. And it's completely untraceable, completely anonymous. They won't be able to find out you did it. So go to poopsenders.com, poopsenders.com, and get some payback, motherfuckers. That's some maniacal shit. That's probably our most maniacal sponsor ever.
I know, that was cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So today, we're doing a special Saturday matinee. We're going to wrap up Shark Week, and we're doing a film that we all know and love, and that is Jowls.
Jowls.
Jowls. So,
You know, things on the side of their mouth.
yeah, it's like, wasn't that like a bad guy from Bond or something like that?
The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast.
You know, the funny thing about a shark is his eyes. Black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Did you say black ice?
I said black ice, like a doll's ice.
You said black guys?
No, we're not starting off on that, okay? I said black ice. Eyes. Wait, all right. If Y-E-S spells yes, then what does black E-Y-E-S spell? Welcome to the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah.
My name is... I didn't think this far ahead.
And Robert Plant is joining me today.
Eggplant. Robert Eggplant.
Robert Eggplant, thank you for being here. So today, it's a special day. We are going to be relaxing in the theater. We are not doing a commentary today.
I got the AC going.
Mm-hmm. AC pumping. Got the turtle tank bubbling.
It's like bubbly.
Okay, we were trying to resolve something before the show. So any listeners out there, if you ever hear Joey's turtle tank or air conditioning unit that he refuses to turn off when we record episodes, then I want you to email him at unknowndropout@gmail.com. That sounds like it could be right. Could be pretty close.
You can try it.
Yeah, give it a shot. Or just find him somewhere and be like, hey, man.
Turn that shit off, bro. I'm trying to listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, you know it's fucking hot.
It is. It's horribly hot. Right now, I don't know where you are, listener, or when you're listening to this, but right now, it's summer.
Yeah, in California, it's like a desert. Hey, you know what I just saw that was kind of disturbing?
What's that?
Not to get too sidetracked, but I saw this report of like the jet stream crossing the equator.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I didn't really understand it. Can you explain it?
it's not something that normally happens because like the northern jet stream stays up in the northern hemisphere. And there's a opposite one that stays on the southern hemisphere. They're not supposed to cross.
Yeah.
They're supposed to stay on their own sides.
And they fucking crossed over each other?
Yeah, and now that it's like mixing and shit.
That's weird.
It's fucked up.
Has that ever happened before?
No, it's not supposed to happen.
Shit.
I mean, like, I don't know if it's ever, but I mean, like, not in recent times, no. And it's like, it's gonna fuck up weather patterns and shit.
Yeah. As if they're not already fucked up already.
Yeah.
Enough.
So.
Already. Threw too many alreadys in there. Well, I have a sidebar as well.
What's that?
That's probably a lot less important than yours. But I noticed my local radio station that I haven't been listening to for years is going out of business. They just recently closed. It's called 107.3 The Rock. Boo-hoo. We don't get to hear Creed and Metallica anymore. Who the fuck cares?
No more Nickelback.
But during the mornings, they had, their regular morning shows and, how they have on every station and how they broadcast all over the place. But we had Bob and Tom as well as Jeff and Jeremy. Which is
a syndicated show that's like on hella radio stations, not just this one.
Yeah, so they're not even like local, you know what I mean? And then we also have Jeff and that is less famous than Bob and Tom, just kind of famous around here. And both of them have taken all of their back catalog shows and put them on iTunes in like a podcast form and are now releasing new episodes as podcasts. When there was always this, disrespect, and we were always looked down upon from the radio world because we thought that they're like, oh, you think that you're doing radio, but you're just a wannabe radio DJ that has a podcast. And then now that they're not making any money and their stations are closing, they're going to come into our game and start making podcasts.
Yeah.
So fuck that. And you can't take your back catalog and have years and years of podcasts that you've been recording, all while you've been hating on podcasts. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, they can, but they're not going to get any new listeners, I don't think, Like, check this out. Their terrestrial radio listeners haven't switched to listening to podcasts.
Yeah, because they still listen to the radio.
Yeah, so, like...
So there's your market.
They're not going to make the transition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The podcast listeners already listen to podcasts and are already, like, in a different realm. It's not like Joe Rogan's gonna lose listeners to fucking Bob and Tom or something like that. That would never happen.
And it's like, maybe if anything, say if 25% of their listener base goes, I want to listen to Bob and Tom still, so I'm gonna download an app or I'm gonna fucking, figure out how a podcast works and start listening. And then they start finding other podcasts that are actual real podcasts. And then go, wow, this is what a podcast is. I've been listening to this fucking like this bullshit fucking put together radio show.
Yeah.
When I really want this unedited podcast of people just talking unedited for hours. So then they start getting into the podcast world. More and more are finding them every day. So.
Yeah, fuck those guys. They don't got Saturday matinees.
And we are currently climbing the charts in society and culture. On iTunes, our new category that we've been placed in, because iTunes contacted us and they were like, look, guys, you guys are constantly talking about culture, and I think you're really influential in society, so we're going to change you into society and culture. And also, you guys aren't funny. So...
That's what we heard.
Yeah, that's what we heard, but we're currently climbing the charts, so go and show us support in iTunes.
Allegedly.
God damn it. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right. What's on the agenda?
All right. Today's film, Jowls. This is the classic shark film. This is the one that fucking started it all. And, it's only right that it be our Saturday matinee for Sharks Week.
Sharks Week.
Sharks Week. Not to be confused with Shark Week, which is owned by Discovery Channel.
Yeah. We gotta switch it up.
Yeah, we can't say it. So Sharks Week is now our thing.
On it.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right. Let's get a smoke session going.
Yeah, you ready to get into that?
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll get into some fucking sharks facts.
You know what? That sounds great. Let's see. I have my very last dab.
Holy shizzle.
Yeah, it's a sad world. So
I'm not allowed to dab because it makes too much noise. So,
do you have any dabs left?
Yeah, I got
lots. Well, how about you heat up your nail and I will just do some magic stuff and erase it. Here, look, I'm going to magically heat up your nail right now with my mind powers. Are you ready? And, all right, check your nail. Is it hot? Don't touch it.
Sizzling.
Whoo. Well, there you go. Are you serious? Fucking YouTube ads every time. I thought this page was up. All right, here is a classic score from our friend John Williams from the Jaws soundtrack. Nice and simple. Easy goes it. I gotta cough a little bit more. I'm just gonna play it out. All right. I'm back. Whew.
All right.
So John Williams, I read this story about John Williams was creating the music for Jaws, and he made the original Jaws score, which is donna 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 donna, and it just goes like that, right? And then he played it for Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg laughed and was like, "That's funny, John, but really, what do you have in mind for the Jaws theme?" And he later said that without Williams' score, the movie would only be half as successful. And according to John Williams, it jump-started his career. So sometimes it's the easier.
Fucking field goal, bro. He made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have taken it as a joke too. I'd been like, "Are you fucking kidding me, John?
Okay,
are you fucking kidding me?
Now give me the score that I paid for."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, this is it."
Jay.
That's
a fucking holy shit Jay moment right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be a new segment for us. Holy shit Jay moments. Fucking John Williams approaching Steven Spielberg with the donna.
Donna.
Looking around. Hold on. Donna. Look at just creating suspense in two keys, you know? It's fucking hilarious, bro. It's so funny. And that's how he lives. That's how, I imagine. I saw this video about, how John Williams lives his life, goes throughout his day, composing every fucking action of his life.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was not really him. It was a fucking comedy video, but it was funny as shit. And that's how I really picture him, you know? He probably goes out throughout his day, just creating tunes for everything. He never lost the inner child or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He has that imagination that just allows him to create these crazy things like that, you know? I think that's really important for a lot of artists. I think a lot of artists are really for whatever reason in touch with their childhood.
Yeah. And it's cool that not only did he make this iconic Jaws theme so basic and suspenseful, but when Steven Spielberg laughed at it, he wasn't oh yeah, let me make something new and crazy. He was like, no, this is it, and this is gonna work, and it's gonna be cool. Like fucking
yeah. And you just have to trust him because he fucking knows. You know, he had it in him. He knew what was gonna be.
Yep.
Nobody could tell him. You know, like that's really how it is when you're original and you know like how something should be. I mean, like
yeah.
You just stick to your guns, you know. Like he's so smart.
You just do what you do, and people will find it eventually. And that
he strikes a chord with your like soul almost. You know what I mean? Like he gets it. He understands people's relationships to tones and things. You know what I mean? And he understands the importance of like what tones invoke what feelings naturally. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that us even comprehend. But he just gets that off of like whatever brainwaves he has, you know, like he just fucking produces this shit.
Yeah.
He understands. He could see it. What we can't, you know?
Yeah. He definitely speaks through his music more than anybody else, I think.
Yeah.
And he's not even playing most of it. He's just orchestrating it.
He's the soundtrack to our lives.
Fuck yeah. And that is a great segue to our new segment on the show, which is motivational moments.
Booyakasha.
So here is a motivational moment for y'all.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward.
Oh, who's that? Lucille Ball?
Turned down by the Decca Recording Company, who said, we don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out.
What, y'all don't like the Beatles?
A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman.
What you know about Ulysses S. Grant?
Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried.
The crybaby Michael Jordan face.
To learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality.
Thomas Edison, pleasant personality.
Because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas.
Let's talk about Walt Disney.
His fiancée died. He failed in business twice. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections.
Abraham motherfucking Lincoln.
If you've never failed, you've never lived.
Powerful stuff.
That's dope.
Right?
Fucking A. And that just goes to show, man, that you can't listen to people that try to discourage you like Steven Spielberg and laugh at your songs that you make. you just got to keep going, man, and you become John Williams. Yep, Steven Spielberg trusted him, which is dope. Yeah. He was like, "Okay, John, whatever. We're both on mad cocaine together, so we might as well make this happen. Just hold our breath and get through it." So, I have a whole bunch of memories watching this movie as a child. There was it was like the iconic, I think through Shark Week, it would always come on. It'd always be on during Shark Week. And fucking, I remember Universal Studios. The ride was dope. They have the actual Jaws from the movie.
They have it still.
Uh-huh. And that's super fresh, man. It's cool that this small thing. And like when you watch the movie doesn't really have a lot of elements to it. You know what I mean? There's not like a lot of side stories.
It doesn't need it. It's a perfect in the way it is.
It's 3 dudes hunting for a giant fish, and yeah, that's really all it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, like it's dramatic in itself. You know, it has enough to it where like it's just a perfect, simple plot. It could just happen over and over and over. It's just like Freddy or Jason movie or like any campy horror movie, you know, it's like they're all the same. They take one little story and flip it over and over. Let's ruin it for some people.
Here, real quick.
That's our best part.
Yeah, real quick. I just found this thing about John Williams that he conducted the orchestra during the Academy Awards in 1976, and this movie came out in 75. So he won the Oscar for the best movie score of the year, and he had to run up to the podium, accept his Oscar, and then run back and continue conducting the orchestra. So he had to like get his thing, say something, and then run back real quick, and then fucking like play himself off stage.
Hell yeah.
That's gangster shit. That's super dope, man. I wonder if there's video of that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. He's a boss.
Yeah. So this dynamic of characters, I think that they did a good job. This was back when movies meant something. You know what I mean? And when everything was done for all these different reasons and things were supposed to hit you subliminally and shit. And I think that there's like these three characters for a reason. There's the cop that is like, you know, straight edge, fucking, you know, lawman. And then there's the drunk old sea captain that's just like, and then there's the in-between guy who's just kind of the nerd, but also he like looks up on the captain at one point. They like get in a fight and he's like, fuck you, old man, and like gets all crazy. So it's like the perfect like line of characters to where they don't really, none of them seem like they would be on a boat together, is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? So it's cool that they threw them all together. It created a lot of cool experiences. And I found out that Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss, who are the old drunk guy and the nerd guy, they argued all the time off set because...
Yeah, but... Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, they argued off set all the time, and that gave them, like, real tension during the movie. When they got to yell at each other as their characters, they would use some of that hatred that they had, but they couldn't yell at each other in real life because it would, like, you know, cause a lot of problems. So they would actually use that anger and be like, ah, and it made for a good movie.
Yeah, I think that the characters were random for a reason because, like, you know, when that type of shit happens, when somebody fucking dies in a shark attack or something, people like rally up and like want to go hunt the fucking shark. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like a combination of like random people involved. Yeah. You know, so like it's a fitting generic scenario, you know, like to obviously there needs to be a captain with the boat, probably needs to be like a cop, and then somebody in relation to whoever fucking, you know, whoever got killed or something. So I think that, like, you know, in a sense, it's just the basics of the scenario.
That's how it would be. It's just some random people together. And then fucking night falls, and they're all just on a boat together, drinking.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite part of the movie, and probably, in my opinion, one of the best monologues in cinema history is the Indianapolis speech that happens when they're all drinking at night under the boat. And I have it right here, so I'm going to play some of it. And then I got a fresh-ass story about it, too. So you might recognize it after you hear it going a little bit.
No distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. You know, it's kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was, shark comes to the nearest man, that man he start pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red. In spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
That's crazy.
You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men, they average 6 an hour. But Thursday morning, Chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player.
Yeah, I don't care about Herbie Robinson's backstory. That shit's fucking crazy, dude. Like, what's I
didn't know that there was black ice on the sea like there is on the road, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. You learn something new every day. And I think that story was based on an actual shark attack that happened that I was watching on Shark Week the other day, where a bunch of Atlantic white tips fucking just ate a bunch of people that sunk on this shit over like 2 days. They just picked them all off and ate like 150 people. Fuck sharks.
You buy it?
What?
Do you buy it? You think it's real?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think sharks eat people.
I think sharks eat people. I think they eat people all the time. But one thing that I was reading about was that Robert Shaw, the guy who just did that monologue, had a notorious alcohol problem. He was a raging alcoholic. This was back in the 70s where people were drinking and smoking and doing cocaine openly on movie sets. You know what I mean? Like, it was no big deal. And so he would be drinking all the time. And everyone said that he was really nice when he was sober. But as soon as he started drinking, he would get competitive and be like an asshole and shit. And what happened was he tried to do that scene drunk because they were all drinking. Like, in the scene, they're all drinking late at night on the boat. So he was like, I'll just get drunk for real, and then it'll like make it realistic because I'll really be drunk and telling the story. And he butchered it, and they couldn't even use any of it. So he felt bad about it, called Steven Spielberg later that night and asked if he could give it another try the next day. So they set it up, and he gave that monologue in one take, and he was like completely sober and did it all one take. And I think it was really good. You know what I mean? That would be something that you would play if I was teaching like a drama class. I'd be like, this is how you give a fucking monologue, and I'd put it on because it was perfect. Right? You know what I mean? I was sucked into it. And then John Williams came in, made it feel all eerie halfway through.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. I mean, like, it's crazy that it still has such a high standard amongst people, you know? Like, people still love it like they do. Mm-hmm. Because it's such an old movie. You know, like, people love the shit out of Jaws. It became like that was the first cult classic.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the first for sure. And it was huge. It spawned, I don't know how many shark movies Jaws spawned.
I think it was the very first, like, cult classic movie that really, like, showed people how to do this shit.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But, it's definitely one of my cult classics on my list for sure.
Yeah.
And, speaking of, we were talking about the shark earlier, how they have it at Universal Studios. I got this fresh ass scene right here of Old Man Quint getting eaten by this shark. If you want to watch it, we can watch this shit in real life. A fucking 1970 shark attack. And see how it was portrayed in the media. Because this was the first, fear campaign that was unleashed against sharks to turn America against sharks and keep people out of the waters.
What was Jaws?
Yep. It was all just a smear campaign. Because sharks really have medicinal qualities like marijuana, and they just want to keep us away from it. But I, much like my marijuana use, also use sharks. And I don't give a fuck about the laws. And eventually people will come around. No?
No.
You don't think sharks can have any medicinal purposes and they're trying to keep it away from us like weed?
No.
Oh. I guess it's just me. All right. Let's see this shark attack. Maybe. Oh! Damn. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that shit is scary as a kid, for sure.
Fuck yeah. And then he just fucking...
It looked like pretty... Like it could have been real as a kid, you know? You don't really, like, notice.
Yeah. And then he just pulls him back down under.
Yeah. It was pretty cool, man. It captured your imagination, for sure.
Yeah. It would have been creepy to be inside of that shark, even though it was fake. To be in the ocean with your legs inside of that giant fucking shark mouth.
So here's a fact.
Oh, you got a fact, huh?
I got a fact.
I don't think you have to say here's a fact.
The shark doesn't fully appear in a shot until 1 hour and 20 minutes into the 2-hour film.
Damn. So it's all sneaky and hidden?
No, because it never worked. So that shark scene, like, that was like hella deep into the movie. After an hour and a half into the movie.
Yeah, that was almost at the end.
Yeah.
Because they were sinking already.
And so, like, that's why they had to make up other things, like the barrels, the yellow barrels.
Yeah.
And, like, they'd have to do a lot of scenes and stuff like that. Should find other things because the shark never worked.
Find things to imply that the shark was there?
Yeah.
So the shark didn't work, like the fucking robotics weren't working.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we got this shark, but it's all fucked up, so...
Yeah.
We got all these cameras on this boat here.
Yeah.
We might as well shoot something.
We gotta make some other shit work, because this ain't happening right now.
See, that's balling on a budget.
Well, and that's testament to fucking creativeness of Spielberg and everybody. Also.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck it, watch this. There's something down there. Look at it, it's pulling the barrel down.
Yeah. It just...
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty ingenious. It's simple.
Yeah, it's good thinking.
Like, oh, look, something's pulling the boat. Whatever, you know? Like, yeah, that's real shit.
Yeah. And then you just imply a shark and then show a fin every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's dope. And just show through the shark's eyes, which is also scary and really cheap. You just need an underwater camera. And you're like, oh, look, there's got to be a shark because I'm looking through its eyes right now. So I think that's what we need to start doing on our show is implying that we have, like every day we should imply that we have a guest, a high profile guest that just never gets on the mic. Like, I mean, I guess today Keanu Reeves is here. He's not really high profile, but I mean, I guess he could work for today. So we could just we could say that Keanu Reeves is Christopher Walken.
He was going to come on the show, but he decided to do some dishes instead.
He got nervous, did some dishes, because I showed him some weird porn. Yeah, so, Christopher Walken is here as Keanu Reeves, or I mean vice versa. And he actually is afraid of sharks, so he's just petrified right now, which is understandable. So, have you been watching Shark Week? You been getting down on Shark Week at all?
Yep.
Did you see the thing that was all about the bull sharks swimming up in the rivers of Cambodia?
Yep.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, huh?
I saw all of it.
And how about that part when the alligator was like, oh. Yep. Crazy.
So crazy.
Yep. But I actually was watching that bull shark thing, and Shark Week turned into an episode of fucking Alligator Week.
Yeah.
And it started.
It happens. Yeah,
they started talking about alligators and how dope they were and how huge they were. And the one alligator that I saw last night was fucking. It was like 25 feet long.
They're gonna do shark versus crocodile. That's what they're gonna do next.
Are they?
Yep, they're gonna have an epic battle because they're both saltwater creatures.
Yeah, they were talking about the bull sharks and how they swim up into the river to get away from all the bigger sharks out in the ocean because they have some sort of like thing in their body where they could process the fresh water because it would kill like most other sharks, but they're constantly peeing when they are swimming. It like their urination cycle speeds up by 15%. So they're just like constantly pissing it out so they can survive in there. But then they have to fight the crocodiles and it turns into this whole big old thing. So it was nuts. It was crazy. And
you should put some in a lake.
Yeah? Some bull sharks in a lake?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Let's create a fucking shark lake.
Yeah, they're only the most violent sharks in the world. Let's put them in a lake.
This week on Sharks Week.
Shark Lake.
We got Shark Lake.
Shark Lake on Sharks Week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
We're going to pitch. We should pitch another, Discovery Channel with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you got another fact?
Here's another shark fact.
What is it?
The mechanical shark in the movie weighed 12 tons. It was 25 feet long.
The mechanical shark?
Yeah, no wonder it didn't work.
Holy shit.
Should have thought that one through.
Yeah.
Did
you say 12 tons?
Yeah, 12 tons.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that shit ain't working.
Yeah.
Not in the fucking saltwater ocean.
Man, that's insane. Yeah, you gotta make it huge. It's 12 tons, and it's gotta be all waterproof and shit.
Yeah.
So,
I probably would have made it, like, out of wood or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Would saved a lot in weight.
Or aluminum instead of steel.
Put, like, fucking fiberglass over it or something.
So, I found out that Steven Spielberg was not the original director of Jaws. Did you know that?
Who was?
They met up with someone. They actually don't give this guy any name credit at all. But they say that the first person was fired after a meeting with producers and studio executives. In the meeting, he said that his opening shot would have the camera come out of the water to show the town, and then the whale would come out of the water. And the producers said that they wouldn't work with someone who didn't know the difference between a whale and a shark. So he just used the wrong word. They were like, we're doing the shark thing. We got this giant shark. And then he was like, all right, then the whale's going to come out. And then they were like, what the fuck? Whale? What are you talking about, whale?
It's not Moby Dick, asshole.
And they were like, hey, you're out of here. And then
that's probably something they said.
Yeah, that actually is quoted in here. The producer said that they were not making, quote, Moby Dick and would not work with someone who didn't know the difference between a whale and a shark. So yeah, the first guy would have been the director of Jaws, but he probably would have fucked it up. And he probably would have told John Williams to make a better song. And he probably would have been fucking feeding what's-his-face, Robert Shaw, alcohol the whole time. So, yeah, I'm glad he didn't get the job.
Okay, it says they nicknamed the shark Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer.
Bruce.
Yeah. He was a shark.
Crazy.
Yeah. And the lawyer also represents Demi Moore, Ben Stiller, and Clint Eastwood.
Is that why, wasn't the shark's name Bruce in, like, Finding Nemo or whatever?
I don't know.
Or Shark's Tale or one of those Disney shark movies?
Probably like Shark's Tale.
Was it Finding Nemo where they came across the sharks?
I don't know.
Huh. Didn't you just see Finding Dory?
Yeah. I did, but they just picked up where they left off from in Nemo. They didn't, like, go over the whole Nemo.
Yeah. I want to say that the shark's name was Bruce. And that'd be cool, because that ties together with Jaws. It ties the universes together, which is dope.
Yeah.
Another fresh fact about this film is that 25% of the movie is filmed at water level so that the viewer has the perspective as if they're treading water and swimming in the ocean.
Nice.
So, like, you're vulnerable. You feel vulnerable.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And Steven Spielberg wanted to do it that way, so he has hella shots. And it's about a quarter of the movie.
He's like, imagine you're just there in the water.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck that. I was imagining I was in the water for a second, and then I was like, nah. Nope, not me.
Yeah, you got to get yourself out of that headspace.
Yeah, I'm never doing that.
Cause nope.
I'm never going on a cruise ship.
No.
I'm never fucking. I don't even want to fly over the ocean. Can we just fly over the land?
Yeah, fuck that. I'll never fly over the ocean.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I don't like no triangles, no Bermudas. I don't like no motherfucking.
I would much rather crash in a plane on land and die.
Fuck yeah. No, not die, but
then crash in the ocean and be stuck in the ocean for, a couple days.
Amount of time.
Yeah. And maybe die or maybe, not.
I would literally have a fucking heart attack if I landed in the middle of the ocean.
Right?
It would be worse than like.
Would you rather
landing in the middle of the ocean would be like worse than like fucking like being stuck on a skyscraper or something.
Yeah. Being stuck on a skyscraper isn't that bad at all.
No, I'd be like, okay, this is how I die. I'd be like, all right, this is it.
Or do you mean flying into a skyscraper like 9/11?
No. I mean like you're stuck. You either gotta wait it out or you gotta jump.
Oh, I see.
So like you could just wait it out and die. Or you just get desperate and jump off or whatever.
Like if you get hangovered on the roof, but you don't have any friends to come and find you at the end of the movie.
Yeah, whatever. So like you hope like maybe a plane sees you, just like if you're out in the ocean or something. Yeah, whatever. You're just trapped. Okay, I'd rather be the fuck up there.
But it's like, yeah,
I would just lay down in the middle, hope a wind doesn't blow me off that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I would just like try to sleep it off.
Just sleep it off.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm
in the
on
middle of the
drugs.
ocean. I will have a straight up panic attack. I will fucking have a heart attack right away. I'm like, okay, I'm dead. Just kill me now because something's gonna eat me. I'm gonna fucking. I want to wait around for something to eat me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
That's the most sketch thing ever. Plus, I'm like, I would fry in the sun.
Cause you're here. Come over here real quick. Come. Is it cause you're ginger?
Something like that.
All right, let's go back. It's cause you're a ginger, right? You got red hair and pale skin?
I'm just very fair skinned.
Yeah.
And I'll fucking be like bacon.
Yeah. That's like the worst feeling is being in a body of water. You can't see the bottom and your legs are just sticking down into darkness.
It's not even that. That's
like, what it is for me. It's fucking creepy.
It's like fucking, I don't know what's in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Well,
everything's in there.
That's the follow up to the fear is that I don't know what's in there. And that's why I don't want my feet sticking down into it.
I don't want to be in it.
I don't want any of my body.
Like it.
we're just bitching about how scared we are of water.
Yeah, I don't fuck with it. No.
Yeah. And that's why we will never get eaten by sharks.
You know what happened? I'll fucking take a big old breath underwater. That's what'll happen. And I'll just end that shit.
Yeah. See? So I would rather crash. I'd rather crash and die on the land than have to fucking. I'd rather 9/11. I'd rather have my plane jacked by terrorists and flown into a building and have me be a passenger of that plane than have to drown myself in the ocean to keep me from dying by sharks.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
Do 9/11 jokes make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, because it's not very cool.
Well, I know it's not, but the time has passed to where it's tragedy plus time equals comedy. So the time has passed to where comedy is now a thing.
Nah, not when it was like...
Yeah, that wasn't very tasteful, but...
That's set up. It wasn't like a real tragedy.
Yeah.
But anyways...
I just noticed that about you for the first time.
Think about that. Think about like how many worse things is there, right? Burning up. If you were like burned to death.
Uh-huh.
If you're like dropped out of a fucking plane or something. Or like crashed the plane and smacked on the impact, what? Drowning. Fucking I don't know what I'd be afraid of more, but I know that fucking that the vastness of the ocean more than anything else. It's like literally it's like being lost in fucking space.
Yeah.
you almost have no hope. You almost have no hope whatsoever. There's almost no hope for you. Almost zero.
Damn. It's true, and it's scary.
Yeah. There's no worse way to go, like, your mind is fucking taking over. You're fucking a creature.
Yeah. You're now just some primal fucking, just some fish floating around in the ocean that doesn't know how to swim good and is going to die soon.
You better hope you're a fish.
Mm-hmm. So, this was actually the first movie in the history of films to reach $100 million in the box office. And
good milestone.
It was the highest grossing of all time in the U.S. until Star Wars Episode 4.
Yeah.
So, that's dope. John Williams, just on top of the game.
Always, right? Yeah. And Spielberg, too. Wasn't he part of Star Wars?
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. So, when we say this is, when we're like, this is one of them cult classics, it definitely was, because it was the first to do a lot of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was the first to show people how to make money with movies. I think, like, they did their own way. They did it real. It had that tangible feeling. It had that real reach out and touch it feel, just like Star Wars did. It was a fucking 25-ton puppet or whatever. 12-ton puppet or whatever it was.
So, they used a shot in the film that has been coined the Jaws shot in film school, like when they teach it to people. And it's forward tracking while zooming out. So, that effect when you're like moving in on something, but it's also zooming out and you're seeing more of the background, that kind of thing. And it makes it look like it was the shot they used when Brody realizes that that Alex has been eaten, whatever the fuck that. So when so-and-so realizes that the other guy gets eaten, he like looks and the camera does the thing where it zooms in and zooms out at the same time. And they coined that shot. And you see it used in movies all the time now.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's fresh. They used it in Tombstone. It actually originated in Vertigo, which was in 1958.
Yeah.
That was the first movie to use it. And then they made it popular. Jaws made it huge. And it turned into the Jaws shot. And I always there's something about, I love movies and I'll get lost in them and shit. And there's something about that shot that I love. I love the way that it looks. How it's zooming in and zooming out at the same time. It's a trip. Because it makes your perspective all change. And it's always at a mind-bending part of the movie where you're like, oh shit. And then it's really your perspective changes. You could see more, but also see clearer. It's a weird subliminal thing. Movies are dope like that. I just want to get in. I want to get into making movies. I've always wanted to be a screenwriter or fucking something like that.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun to write a movie, and I think it would be fun to act in one as well. If it was I don't know, if it was something that we wrote,
yeah,
a part for ourselves, because I'm not one to memorize somebody else's shit, really. You know what I'm saying? So it would be hard for me to learn a part, but it would be easy for me to write myself a part.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And I think that would be fun. I'm super interested in it. I think the most tedious part is the edit. Yeah. But I think that could be fun too. You know, I think it would be fun to sit in and just learn every process. And I don't know, I think it's a crazy thing making movies. I think it's pretty neat, the whole process. I think when you have a formula like these guys do and you do it right and you create something that lasts this long and people still look forward to or look up to, it's a magical thing. It's not everybody that does it. Not everybody can do this. It's a few people.
Yeah, and a lot of it is a lot of movies and this one are ad-libbed and improvised, and you know, like half of it's written and the other half is like just do what feels good, what feels like your character would do right now. You know what I mean?
And those are always the best ones, you know. That's how it is. It's more of a cohesion, you know. It's a fucking people work off of other people's feeling, you know. Like you guide yourself off of each other, you know, instead of just like off of like a direction, you know. It's more of like a feeling. It's more of in the moment type of thing, and that's what makes it good, because it feels like natural.
Yeah. And the most famous line from this film, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," was ad-libs on the spot. Good. He just said it. He was like, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," and it fucking turned into like the hugest thing, and it's constantly referenced still. You know, how many fucking years later?
It's pretty neat, man. This was definitely a big deal. Definitely still a big deal. I think that it's never really like underrated or overrated. You know, I mean, I think it's like on a pedestal. I think that it's in its own realm. Once you hit cult celebrity, I think there's really no comparison anymore. You know, and Jaws is like one of those.
So I found out that during the filming, a real shark became entangled in a line that they laid under the cage. And they ended up filming it and using it in a shot in the film. They just blew it up. And then, like zoomed in on it. They didn't explode the shark. They're not terrorists. And then, there was another one where there's a scene in the movie where they show, you could see the shark underwater and he has a rope hanging out of his mouth. Yeah. And that's like a real shark that they had filmed. Some fucking shark experts and videographers went and filmed it. Ron and Valerie Taylor went out, filmed a real great white, and you could tell that his mouth is a lot smaller than the animatronic shark that fucking attacks the boat a couple seconds later, but they spliced it in there to kind of make it look real when you actually see the shark. And that goes back to what you were saying, how like the shark didn't work half the time. And if they showed too much of it, then you would realize that it was fake. You know what I mean? So they had to splice in like bot footage of sharks that they had someone go collect, some accidental shark that they caught, the mechanical shark, all these different things all mixed together, created the illusion of this one giant shark.
Well, they also said that one shark, they went out and bought a mini shark cage and they put a midget in the cage to make that shark look even bigger, to make it appear like the person it was attacking was like a lot smaller than it.
Are you serious?
That's what it says.
Man, that's funny. I shouldn't laugh that hard at that.
It's good though, right? It's like it's just a mindfuck. It's all about like.
That's crazy.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm. Just bring the scale down, then you got a giant shark. Bada boom.
That's what they did. They made a 14-foot shark look Jaws-like.
Damn, well, that's pretty easy. Why not? So I think that it could be done. All you really need is the creativity, and you can make any movie. So I say we do it. I say we do it right now. Let's end this shit, and let's go out and make a movie.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah? We're going to go make a film, and we're going to need some extras in our film. So email us at naturalhabitatpodcast@gmail.com to get your extra slot.
It's not going to be anything weird. It's not a porn or anything like that.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, it's also not going to be anything at all. You're not going to say the end thing?
That was it. It was over the blank pause.
All right. Natural Habitat Podcast.
Natural Habitat Reporting.